beloved Muslims, those who are here with us, those who are visiting with us, and also those who are viewing us from our live stream from, I think we have about 138 countries that type in to our live stream. We greet you all with a greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Please turn off all cell phones until after Juma, please. Thank you.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salat. Hayya ala salat. Hayya ala falah. Hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah huwa alladhi khalaqa al-insana min tin wa ukhrijahu min adh-dhulumati ila an-nur. Fa nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu. Nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi. Na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu lahul mulk وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد قال الله في القرآن الكريم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. For Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer, we always give all praise and thanks to Almighty God Allah. Alhamdulillah, the complete and perfect praise belongs to Him. We thank Allah for blessing us to come to this Jummah day that Allah Ta'ala has called us to be together, a day also that the angels are also here. They're sitting among us as well. We thank Allah for them. We thank Allah for guiding our hearts. We thank Allah for guiding our minds, for guiding our intentions every Friday to be here. Whether we can make it or not, we know that's our intentions to make the call, to respond to the call of Allah, how to glorify His seed. We thank Allah for guiding our lives here in these United States of America, what's considered to be a miracle, to have gone through what we've gone through as a people in America, this place that was called the Great Shaitan, to have al-Islam here, and it's the fastest growing way of life here on this land, this place called America. So we thank Allah for guiding us. We thank Allah for giving us this way, al-Islam, in its entirety. And we trust Allah with our future as individuals and our future here. We trust Allah with our future here. And we trust Allah with our delivery to you. And that what we say, Allah will bless us, or bless us to achieve the best for you. And we ask Allah to guide our minds, to guide our tongues. We thank Allah and we ask Allah to bless us with good health, to bless us with good strength, and to guide us always towards, and never from His two great mercies, And those are the Quran, His guidance, and we know the recipient of that guidance, Muhammad the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We thank Allah for him. We want Allah to guide us to them. We never separate from them. And Allah will keep us forever an example of those two books wherever we are. We know this Quran came as Hudan, as Allah says in the Quran, Shahr Ramadan, alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran, Hudan lin-nas, guidance for mankind. Wa bayyinatun min al-huda, and also explanation, not just guidance, but also an explanation of the guidance, and also for the criteria of what is guidance and how to determine that as well. For man shahada minkum, and whoever witnesses, whoever's around during this month, during this shahr, yasumuhu, he should fast. And while man kana maridan or ala safran, if you are sick or if you are traveling, for idadat min al-ayyam al-ukhra, then you can make them up later. You're really exempt during the time when you're fasting. You can make those days up if you can. And again, if you can't fast, then there are other ways you can do. And there are many, we know some of our seniors can't fast. They feel bad, but know that the good news is that with Allah Ta'ala, your intentions, they weigh so much. You know if you could fast, you'll be fasting, and you get the blessing of that intention with those who fast. So don't feel bad. Allah knows. He knows all of us. He knows His servants. And Allah lets us know, He says, Yuridu Allahu bikum al-yusra, that Allah, He wants for us ease. La yuridu bikum al-usra. He doesn't want for us hardship. He said He wants for us ease, not hardship. And He said, wa li tukmilul idadat, and for us to complete the days. Why? Li tukabiru Allah ala ma hadakum wa la alakum tushkurun. Tashkurun. So we have in the first reading, we have Allah says la'alakum tatakun, and in the second reading He says la'alakum tashkurun. So both of those, we want to just mention a few things, inshallah, about those two things. This to Kabiru, we know our day begins with Allahu Akbar, and you hear Akbar in there. To Kabiru, Kabara, big. We know this is this measure, this verb form is in the second form, which means that you just doing this fast will, if you do the fast, like Allah is telling, He said it will cause you to make Allah big to magnify Allah in your life. In your life. You know, people will be able to see that Allah is the biggest thing in your life. He said that's what this fast will help you do. When we look at Muhammad the Prophet, the present people upon him, and when we look at the companions, we can look and we can see in their life Allah was the biggest influence in their life. He was the biggest thing in their life. So Allah say that if we do this and we complete that, he said that Lukabiru Allah, to magnify Allah, to glorify Allah, and Alama Hadakum, and that he has guided us. We're here, and he says, Wala alakum tashkurum. And again, perchance, la alakum, maybe. It's not definite. Maybe it depends on you. Depends on you. Perchance you'll be grateful. It's about getting to gratitude. All of this now gets us to be gratitude for what Allah has given us. So we're looking at this guidance in the Quran, and we know that we say Allahu Akbar. Allah lets us know in these readings in the Quran that human beings will never be satisfied. We'll never have a sense of comfort until our soul is satisfied that the Lord, the Creator, that thing that's superior, that's bigger than them, is greater than everything and bigger than everything and smaller than nothing. That's why Allah gives us Allahu Akbar for the human being, for us to get us to mankind. We know Allah made this great creation, this big, vast creation, and as big as this creation is, as seemingly endless as it is, immeasurable. We can't measure it. We know we tried to do some things in our history to get us to think big, but we had to learn the inches of the earth in the history of Muslims in America here. We have some here who had to take those lessons to get them to think big. Nobody's going to be able to build anything on the diameter of the earth, but just to think big. You see, but it's immeasurable. We can't measure the creation. It's very big. Man doesn't know where it begins or where it ends. They're looking, but they can't. It's just too vast. It's just too big. So when we look at this, we have to know for our soul satisfaction that our Creator, our Lord, is bigger than even it, this big creation that man continues to explore and can never find an end to. It is endless. And Allah lets us know that when we look at this creation, that it's not for him. He says for us. He says, Alam taru ana Allah sakharu lakum ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard. He said, can't you see that? He said, can't you come to this conclusion that Allah subjected all of this for you, lakum, for all of us. He said, he gave us something, a faculty, we should be able to come to that conclusion that this is for us. You know, we're here, and we look at the days of creation, and we look at what was created, and now we also have, we know animals are here and other things are here. Animals get great benefit. You know, they see things, and this creation, they have their paradise, so to speak, here in the creation, but they still can't conceive like the human being. And we say many times that this whole creation, that Allah, when he said be, that began to usher forth, everything was waiting for that sixth day to come, because nothing could bring out the benefits like the man that's here on this day of Jummah, like us. This Jummah, this intellect that goes into that same creation that we came out of to bring out all of these benefits. So it was waiting for us. Animals can't conceive that. And while our attention, we know now, is in the skies, and we're waiting to look at the signs of the start of the Ramadan, when we look at the animals, they have no comprehension about the moon. They don't have no comprehension. They realize that when it comes out, they see better. Some of them, we know they hunt during those times. They get to move around, etc. But we look at them, knowing that it's a body. It's a body of matter that's revolving and orbiting, around the earth. They have no idea of that. They have no comprehension of that. Only Allah's man has comprehension of that. Allah could have had, for the animals are concerned, he could have had it stay in one place. And it would have registered the same to the animals, night and day, the cows, the dogs, all these other things that are here outside of man, it would have registered the same. But for the moon that we'll focus on right now, to have movement, this kind of movement where it goes through these phases and stages. You got a quarter moon, you got a half of the moon, you got a full moon, you got the new moon that we're looking for, all these different things here. Allah lets us know that these are all for our understanding, for us to come to look at, to come to conclusion that really they're here because of, really, we come to the base conclusion, they're here because of the position of the sun. We look at the sun, we look at the position of the sun, the position of the earth, and the position of the moon. All those things make a difference and have bearing on what's happening when we look at those different phases. We come to those conclusions. So Allah, He's communicating, He's speaking that these are signs. These are communications for our benefit, not for the animal, for the human being, for us to come to the conclusion. And He wants to derive these things and begin to thank Him, to ponder on Him. So we comprehend the benefits from Allah. We conclude the benefits from Allah. We go into the earth, we bring these benefits out. We have the scientific mind that Allah has evolved. And we bring out all these beautiful, wonderful gifts that we're benefiting from. If it was hot today, we have air. All this stuff coming from the earth. Lights that we can see when it's dark. All this coming from the earth. Everything on our bodies, everything on our eyes, all of this coming from this creation. But we are able to bring out this utility and make this useful. And we're supposed to continue to go to the creation. Look at the science and bring out greater and greater benefits, and we're held accountable for what we do with that we came out of, that we got to go back into to approach. We're held accountable for that. Allah wants us to know. He said, look at these things that I've given you, and we know that they're so wonderful. But in looking at the wonder, we have to understand that these things, they're complex. And why are they complex? We don't really have to wonder why they're complex, because as we think on these things, as we ponder on these things, as we reflect on these things, as we study the birth of these things, we're studying the birth of the new moon now. As we study these things, we've been gifted with the capacity to comprehend that all of these things are here to stimulate great potential in us, in the human being, in our what? In our minds, in our intellect, in our thinking. Is to stimulate that in us, to bring things out, to bring us into what we get ready to come into, a new moon. And what's the new moon? The new moon is really speaking about a new mind. The moon, we look at it, in understanding the moon now, we see light, but the moon, it doesn't have light. The moon is a reflector of light. That's what it is. So we've come to see that now. It just reflects the sun's light. And that's what we're seeing. It's not glowing because it has its own light, but this is all communication from Allah to us. That this reflector, the moon, really represents man's mind. It represents the mind of man as a symbol for us. And man means mind. This is what man means. And when we look at the dictionary, we'll find that in the dictionary. It used to be up closer, but things have pushed it back, but you'll still find it in the dictionary, that man means mind. And man is a reflector. That's what he does. He reflects. He thinks. He ponders. This is what Allah is trying to appeal to for us. He's a thinker. And so we're approaching Ramadan in the next 2 days. So during this fast of Ramadan, as we show gratitude to Allah Ta'ala and thank Allah, and we think and we reflect on the wisdom and the wonders of Allah Ta'ala, on all of this He's given us, this creation. We come to find the science of creation, this creation and what supports the heavens, and this design and the order of creation, our own creation, inside and out, and that outside of us in the world as a whole. We think on those things. So by thinking on Allah's great works, He calls us to that. He tells us by thinking on those things, we are kept powerful. We are the crown of creation. But we are kept that way. We are kept fi ahsani taqweem. And we don't have to drop to the asfala safilin, to drop down and below. We are kept up and powerful, and to be that crown that Allah created us to be. Reflect on the wonders of Allah. Our mind, our inner being is kept alive. Our mind, our inner being is awakened. This is what has wakened man up to make the kind of progress that we see today. And we have much more progress to make. If we're here, that tells us that we have more progress to make. It ain't over till Allah says it's over. As long as we're here, we have more progress to make. And those who are here, they're not the ones that were here. They had their time. If you're here now, it's your time to continue to engage and bring out and build upon this creation, this excellence that we have. And all of that is what's inside. What's inside you is petitioning this creation, this earth. What's inside this earth is petitioning this to do things. If we don't believe this is earth, when that soul drops out, if it drops out of me now, it leaves, departs, or transition, this earth, it'll fall right down to the earth. connect right to it, and eventually to start breaking down into that it came from. You see? So we're to make the best out of, that's a sign from Allah. Don't make the best out of just this, but that you came out of, because you're a part of it. And you're to develop and continue to go in, to use it. This Ramadan is an opportunity for us to really, to reflect on this guidance of Allah, you know. Allah has wakened up the body, but he's also waking up the soul. This is Ramadan, the inner being, you know, and wants that to stand. That's what's really standing. You know, some people are standing physically, but they're not standing in life. You know, we're supposed to take stand. That's why our faith, our prayer, it starts again with standing. And we say often, you know, the elude is they call the soul, S-O-L-E. And we stand. You got to have a soul, S-O-U-L again, to stand on the soul. And Allah is letting us know that's a message in the evolution of language, that the soul is supposed to stand up for Allah Ta'ala who created it, and stand up for those things that work against the soul. You see, in himself, in herself, and outside of himself, in the environment, in the creation. This is what we're supposed to do, and this would allow us to stand if we really connect with this Ramadan. So throw the outer body, what they call the animal thing, you know, it'll cry for food. And it cries and hungers. This is the thing it does. But the inner being, when you begin to give yourself to that created it, then it's not disturbed. You don't even hear those cries. And we know, because we've been through this many times. We just came back from Denmark. They say they have 18, 20-hour days sometimes. But they say ain't nothing, you know, because they're fasting for Allah. It's like it was a 5-hour day, like it was a 10-hour day. But they have them long days, because the body, they're beyond that now. Because they're giving themselves to Allah Ta'ala, you know. So it's separating itself from the outer body. And that's what Allah wants us to be able to do. We have to look at the signs in terms of what he's given us. And then so living in the world is living in the world in a higher form. We're supposed to be in the world, but not of it. We're supposed to not to let it affect us. We're supposed to affect it. So that's the conclusion that Ramadan is trying to get us to come to be what Allah created us to be. You know, fasting, it gives us strength to overcome this drive. And when human being has many drives, but we know that this great drive is this drive that comes from this flesh, this physical hunger that we have. So Allah draws our attention to that now. You know, almost if we look at the animals, almost the whole life of animals, they're ruled by. You know, they have this thing over them where this is this drive to overcome hunger. And we see it. We watch these shows all the time on National Geographic and other channels. We look at this stuff. This drive of the flesh, you know, it's a drive of the flesh for something to satisfy the flesh. And that's what it's looking for, to get the flesh satisfied. But the hunger, get some food in it, then it's good. But if you can control that very powerful drive, and this is a strong meaning of what we're coming into in this month of Ramadan, we can control this strong, powerful drive, you see, this drive that not only calls us to be able to withstand the hungers of the flesh and to still stand up. If we can withdraw that and drive out all over that, then this will help us to overcome every other drive that affects our life. This is one of the strong messages that Allah has given us. If we overcome those things, if we truly give ourselves to this Ramadan, you know, everything in the universe. If we're all a part of the universe, if everything in the universe is in me, I came out of it. If that means that everything is related. I can't separate everything. Everything is related. You see, so if we look at that, the body affects the mind. In this Ramadan, everything is exercised. The whole life is exercised. The body is affecting the mind. The mind affects the body. Morality is affected. All of these things, they are influenced. And they influence each other. And Allah, again, that's why he wants the total life, the whole life, to be engaged. Not like anything else, any other way of life that we find where the whole life is engaged. Even our prayer, the whole life, the whole exercise, everything is engaged. Mind, concentrating, the spirit, the physical, everything is happening. Our whole life. And we're supposed to submit our whole life to Allah. You know, Allah tells us that he wants us to think. To think. La'alakum tatakun. To be conscious. You know. And that's the highest level of conscience for the human being is to be conscious of the Creator. And taqwa, they say God-fearing, but more God conscious, be conscious, more regardful, to be more mindful. This is what Allah wants to do. He wants us to think. And he says that thinking, that will free us. It will free us. It will help us to break things that we put on our life that bond our life. It'll help free us. We were speaking about Bilal a few weeks ago. How he, even though he was still physically in bondage, he let his slave master know that he was free. He was free. And he had got to a point of comfort and satisfaction. And whatever day he said, you can do what you want to do to this, I'm free. And look how Allah allowed that internal embrace of him to eventually affect the environment and led to his physical freedom. Well, he was already worshiping Allah. You know, if we can't do the salat physically because of constraints or whatever, we can inside go through the whole motions. We can do everything. You can be sitting down and go through the whole motion inside yourself. Nothing can stop you. That's one thing we're held accountable for, that we don't have an excuse. The salat, the prayer. You know, Allah said whatever condition, you can pray standing, sitting down, lying down. If you can't, then inside. Nothing can stop you from making that salat. There are no excuses from not being able to connect with that, because of what Allah given, the strength that he's given us to connect with our very soul. So he wants us to think. He says that without a doubt, thinking benefits you. Without a doubt, you're going to profit. You're going to gain if you just think what we want us to think the way he wants us to think. You know, he said if we don't think the way he is teaching us to think, that we're going to lose. We're going to lose. And we see people losing all the time that don't think. They're just out in the world and they've lost. They've lost control of their life. They don't have control of their life. Most of the people don't have control of their life. Someone else is controlling their life because they're controlling their thinking, because people don't think. And they're actually saying, don't make me think. People don't even want to think. You get quiet. The term is now, it's too boring. Nobody want to think anymore. You know, they got to have something always directing the movement. That's why Allah wants, he said, think on him and let him be the one to direct the movement, to free your life from all those things that you become in bondage to. This is the thing, the thinking. Everybody wants to get this because this is the greatest tool to keep moving things forward. Ramadan. It's a time for deep reflection. Deep reflection. You know, coming into this new mind, you know. Deep concentration on the devotion, our devotional life and our prayers. To really focus on. We're doing more prayers in this time than any other time. And our devotion for reading the Quran. We're reading more Quran in this month of Ramadan than any other time. If you complete it, you do it again. If you do it early, you're supposed to keep going. Don't stop. If you get it, don't keep reading. We're doing it more. We're supposed to let things go so we can focus on the remembrance of Allah for his grace. For all of the blessings that he has given us. We're supposed to be thinking about that, all the bounties he's given us. We're supposed to look at those things in our life, you know. He has created things that he opened up to us. And he wants us to show gratitude for those things. We should all of us, male, female, we should feel the need to express thanks. Allah say, la'alakum tashkurun. But maybe you'll get it. Maybe you'll get it. Perchance you'll get it. Perhaps you'll get it. So we should all feel the need to express thanks and gratitude no matter what our circumstances are. No matter what we are seeing, no matter what the situation we may find ourselves in. Nobody, no male, no female, no one is too poor or too miserable to be thankful for something. La'alakum tashkurun. This is the message Allah he is trying to give us, you know. Everybody has received something. And of course we know the first thing we receive, if we're here, we know the first thing we receive is life. You got life. That's the first thing we hear. And there's more things that we can begin to think of past that. So you want to bring us to those conclusions so we can look at what we have received and what we have been given. This month of Ramadan, this month in which we know for us as Muslims, it has a heightened sense of appreciation. We know this is the time that our dear prophet, the praise be upon him, that he showed more appreciation. He showed more, be an example. He's the model. He gave more, showing more appreciation. And brothers, please, when you see the brothers, they don't like to stand up here too long. They don't want to distract anybody. But if you see them, fill in the gaps, please. You're trying to make room. So fill in the gaps. If you see a gap, fill in the gaps. We're not supposed to have any gaps. Not just when we're standing, but now let's fill the gaps, and even when we're sitting together. Let's be together. Let's be close. So this month of Ramadan, as we're getting this heightened sense of appreciation for the goodness that Allah has given us, the goodness of things that He's provided for us, even with relations. You know, we all are connected to somebody. We have people in our life. He wants us to be mindful, to reflect on those things. You know, that this month is really a gift. And we know our dear Dr. Zaid was speaking about Ramadan last week. You know, so we just continue. We continue the beautiful words that he was giving last week. But this is a gift from Allah. You know, for what? What is it for? It's help. He's always helping us. There's never a time when Allah is not helping us. But these are like major helping storms here, you know. He always gives us stuff in our life. He's always communicating. Yuhadhirukum Allahu nafsah. Yuhadhirukum Allahu nafsah. He say he himself tries to help you. He himself, he's always communicating. He said most of the people don't pay attention. Most of the people, they're ghafilin, they're unmindful, they're heedless to the communication. He's always communicating. He said most of the people. So that tells us we have to put effort in to think about the things that are happening, because everything is communication to help us. He's always trying to help his servants. He's not a God, a creator, waiting for us to go wrong so he can punish us. No, he's always waiting for us to go right, and he helps us to try to go right so he can reward us and bless us. His mercy prevails over his wrath. This is how he is. So he's always trying to help us to get to the point where we can receive from him if we only listen. We have no excuse on the day of account. All the communication that's in us and outside of us, we have no excuse on the day of account. Allah, he's telling us if we only just listen. So this month is an opportunity for us to return. To return. We know at the end of this, we have the Eid al-Fitr, the return to the nature, to the original nature. So this is an opportunity for us to return to our original nature, the nature that was given to us in the first one. On this day of Jummah, Adam, the nature that he was given, is to return to that nature, you know. And he was charged. He was given a responsibility. The first one was given a responsibility. The responsibility given to the first one is a responsibility for everyone. So we have to again be looking, what was their responsibility? What was his charge? His charge was to tend to the garden. To tend to the garden. And there are two gardens. There are two gardens. I'm dual. You're dual. We're two. We're more than that, but we're mainly a composition of two. I'm invisible and I'm visible. And they say individual. In meaning don't and divide. Don't divide the dual. You know, and we find you can get schizoid where people become split and stuff like that. No, he say don't divide the dual. So there are two gardens, and so what are those two gardens? It's the garden of my soul. The garden of my soul. And Allah talks about cultivating the soul and those who free it, those who purify it, you know, versus those who corrupt it. So that's the first garden. And Ramadan gives us the opportunity to cultivate that garden, this beautiful garden that we have. And the second garden is this creation. This creation that feeds us, that clothes us, that takes care of us, that supports us, that shelters us. Just like a garden that we take care of, that facilitates our life. So this month helps us to attend to both. But the main focus is on the soul. Tarawih. Those prayers. And you hear inside that word, Tarawih, you hear ruh. Ruh is in the middle of that word. That's the essence of that word, ruh. And Allah says, when He breathed into you of His spirit, of His ruh. So we're trying to connect with that this month upon us, this spirit of Allah. And what does it really mean? Also, you have the word riyah, wind, also means inspiration. That means that to be inspired, not by the world, but by Allah. We're trying to connect so we'll be inspired by Allah, the Allah who gave us the soul. We're trying to give it to Him. And we're standing. The soul is standing. That's what's standing. The soul is standing. Those long hours of night, you know. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. So the month of Ramadan is upon us, and inshallah we'll have our first Tarawih Sunday night. The way things are looking, with the birth of the moon being born actually Saturday, the visibility for actually for us even here in this continent will be Sunday. So we're really expecting Sunday to start our special prayers that night. So this month, again, it's a gift from Allah, you know, and He wants us to look at nature, look at creation, look at our own creation. We was talking about animals, and this month is a month of birth. It's 9th month, and we know that also I think next week they're going to be celebrating the mother. The mother in Ramadan in the 9th month, Mother Day is going to be celebrated. That's more communication. And we have to understand that it comes, Allah lined these things up. And if you look at what's happening in the world right now, how Allah is lining up Ramadan and putting Mother's Day, a very important day in history and in life. Every day we know is Mother's Day, but there's time to highlight. He made sure it's here right early up in this period of Ramadan for us to connect with that. And then we look at women, and we out of the year of the woman right now that's happening. All of these things are communication for us to pay attention to, in terms of what the society needs to get back on track, because it was off track. And it's going further away from track, but Allah has given us the signs of how to get it back on track with the communication He's given us in the creation. By highlighting mother, by highlighting the woman. This month of Ramadan, we can't disconnect this from mother. You know, we're born just like animals. We come from the womb, you know, we come from the womb of the mother. And for us, we know we are tied to the mother by a cord called habal. It's a cord, the umbilical cord, you know. And so in this there's a first awakening. There's a first awakening. When we come out as human beings, when we first awake, then there's a connection. We're actually physically tied. You can see the cord. It's tied to the mother's belly. This is a sign of how we're tied. This is just a sign, again, another communication of Allah to how we're tied to the creation. You know, but the cord has to be cut. It can't stay. It has to be cut. And Allah, again, during this month of Ramadan, is trying to help us. This is the month that we have to cut the tie from the creation. And we have to begin to take our first breath, you see, to Nefis. And He said when He breathed, and on His own, and you can't see it, it's the abstract. And Allah is telling us that this month here, He wants us to be able to disconnect ourselves from the dependency on creative things. We fast from these physical things. That's the main thing. To take on to Allah, this new Hebel. You see, he mentions Hebel Wareed, that He's close to us in Hebel Wareed, the vein in the neck. And He says, Wa'tasimu bihabilillah, and hold on to this cord. And Atasimu, the measure is the measure that says it's internal. It's not talking about physically hold on. It's the 8th measure. It means internally, you're supposed to hold on internally to that. This internal, this soul we're talking about, let that grab Allah's cord. All of you, your whole life, and then all of you together. That's where the progress is for you. When you grab that cord, and this is an opportunity for us to grab that cord. Our success is in our whole life, first of all, grabbing that cord and being consistent. And then each other coming together, us grabbing that. The society needs a model. Allah says, let there be a model. We've been raised to be the model. We've been ukhrijat linnas. We've been evolved. We've been raised for what? Ukhrijat linnas. For the best of all of humanity. Allah Ta'ala calls us an international ummah. There is no nationalism in Islam. You know, we got these white nationalists. I don't like to even say white nationals. That's kind of soft. They're racist. White supremacists. You know, nationalists kind of soft because it says that they love America. I understand. We love it too. But we're not nationalists. My state does not determine for me my religion. My religion determines for me my state. It's bigger. is bigger than my national life. And we have to understand that. We're not to make nationalism bigger than our human life. Nationalism is not bigger than humanity. But this is what we see happening. So Allah, again, he's communicating when he said, we are an international. We all are connected. We all are together. Don't separate yourself based on your nationality. You can accept that, but it's not bigger. Allah said, don't let anything come. No, nothing to come between us. He calls us an international ummah to let us know that if we understand that, the help we would give to the rest of the world, being that we've been evolved for the good of all the world, for the good of all of humanity. And we've allowed that to happen. We find Muslims killing Muslims, Muslims despising Muslims, Muslims rejecting Muslims, over many different things. And Allah said he wants us to hold on together and don't separate. And don't separate. If you do what Allah say do and don't separate, then he say, well, he does what? He say he puts the alafat, bayna qulubukum. Alafat. He will put love. And that we know this joining, this alafat, this joining of the hearts. This is a critical key point that Muslims should never miss. Because our dear prophet, the President of peace upon him, he said that you will never get into the garden unless you have faith. But you will not have faith. The condition for faith is love. Is love. So if we miss that and we think we got the faith, we're saying the faith, it's not enough. It's not enough just to say it, just to wear a label. No, living it means there has to be a dominant demonstration of love. And that's why we stand together, close. Allah wants us to be close. We got different nationalities here. We got 40 that signed up to the survey that we did. And we all stand together, regardless of the nationality, regardless of ethnicity, etc. And then again, we had about 9 different religious leaders come here and looked out at this crowd a couple of weeks ago after New Zealand. And half of them said to me what they saw was amazing. It was such a beautiful picture. They envied the congregation when they were here for a Jummah weeks ago. They envied the beautiful picture of diversity that we have. But they saw unity in our diversity as they observed our prayer. It was so beautiful. And Allah is saying that's just a communication. You look at the communication that just the prayer gave to those who came here to visit from other houses of worship and other ways of life, just what they got out of observing us pray, the picture, and how that affected them. Just think what would happen if we did the same thing when we're not in the prayer lines. If we connect our life, if we don't let things come between us, if we stand together, and we understand that we're always before Allah. We're not standing before Allah. You're always before Allah. Don't say your prayers, you standing before Allah. No, you just stand in obedience at that time. You're always before Allah. But we together, if we do that when we are not physically together, Allah will cause us and cause the world to see the model that he wants the world to follow. And Muhammad the Prophet, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he is a rahmatul alameen. He is a mercy. He is a compassionate for all. Liman yarju Allah wa yawm al-akhir. For any whose hope is in Allah in the last day. Not just Allah, but also the last day. They let you know you're going to be accountable. You're going to be held accountable. Some people say they believe in Allah, but they don't believe in what's coming. There's going to be accountability. So he said he is that for any, and that just in that brief instance, for them to respond like they didn't have to even share that, but it moved them so much that they shared it. So that tells you how our movement would affect humanity. So let's not forget it. This Ramadan, let's connect our life as we stand together, we pray together. Allah brings us together. We come together more than we've ever come together. More people are going to be in the masjids and the sajdas than ever before during the month of Ramadan, because we know its benefits. We know its gifts. We know during this month it's like a super month. Everything you do is maximized. Everything you do that's voluntary is like you did it as an obligation. You get the reward of an obligatory act. Your optional things, Allah just accepts those things and multiplies them. The obligatory things, the rewards you get in Ramadan are maximized far beyond what you would get in any other month. Your goodness, your kind, your good deeds are multiplied more in the month of Ramadan than any other month. So more are coming, more are trying to do more. But we don't want to get focused on just the ritual of the life. We want to focus on the meaning and how to live the rituals in the life. In the life. The world needs that. If they don't see it, then what they see causes them despair. It causes them to lose hope. That's why Allah gave them us. So people don't lose hope. They see that there are people who have not given up hope. We'll never have our head down. Only in salat and only humility to Allah Ta'ala. Other than that, and even when it's up, it's down on the inside. But not down from despair. Not down because we let stuff affect us. What's happening from the top in this government. The things we see happening around the world. No, we go up and down in our salat. And we say Allahu Akbar. Whatever position, where you're standing, where you're bowing, where you're down in the lowest position, it's still Allahu Akbar. So when you have those moments, you see those moments in life, Allahu Akbar, that's the Muslim. Because he knows that what he's seeing is temporary. It's all temporary. And we have a responsibility to work against the temporary things that work against the life that Allah created for the human being to progress upon. And we have a charge to do that, individually and collectively. I want to close with a couple of announcements. May the 7th, we have a hearing in Southeast. We're trying to get the map amended. It's a map amendment hearing, and which means that we want to have more space to build, but we're trying to get the whole block upgraded so it helps everybody in the area. We'll be able to do more, and the people's value will go up on their properties, and the hope is that we'll be able to acquire more of that in the future. You know, we have to, we say many times, we have to see expressions that please our soul in the society. This is not enough to have a place to worship. We lose our children because they go other places. That's why we lose them, because we haven't produced, most of us haven't produced nothing but a place to come pray. And life is for more than just to pray. It's to get the message from the prayer and go out there and live certain things. We know the man that stayed in the masjid praying all the time wasn't the one that gave him the value. He wasn't the one that was saying that he was the best. The prophet asked him who was doing more, who was taking care of him. They said, you are better. Khairu minhu. Not he's better because he's staying in the masjid. No, you better. And our children, just they seen us in the masjid praying in the most pious position, that's not enough to keep them. If they don't see us living it outside, building, being productive, standing up, our life standing up, the dawah, the being a Muslim, not going out there trying to demand nobody. We don't demand anybody. Allah makes people Muslim. We are supposed to just show the beauty. We're supposed to show the picture. Make that picture clear first in our life. That's the first thing they see. That's what we're supposed to do. So we're trying to build. And the more of us come together, we can build many more things. So we're trying to get 80 units up in the Southeast. If we get the map a minute, we can do 80 units. Other than that, it's going to end up being 40. And we're trying to put about 7 businesses up there. And we already got some lined up, inshallah. But we need support. We need you there, and we want to fill the place. This community is an 80-plus year community. We've been owning that property in Southeast for 5 decades. And we haven't let the pressure, and we had a lot of pressure from big builders to buy it. They offer big money to buy it, take it off our hands, because they want to develop, and they've been going over there developing. But Allah has blessed us. We've struggled, but with your help, we've been able to hold on to it, and we've been able to even acquire more. So now we can do more. And we've always had an interest in the development. This community started with a love for the people who were marginalized, who were written off, who were separated from their humanity. It started from that love for the people. And that's why we couldn't leave. We still love the people. And that's the most hurt area in this city right now, Southeast. The unemployment rate is the highest in the whole city. And our plans were always to be more useful. And Allah bless us now to be able to get to a point where we can do more. We're going to be hiring 40 people, full time, hiring 40 people, after the project is up. That's in the we passed, and you all should know this because this is your community. We have offered the most progressive community benefits package ever issued in this city by any developer. No one, for this size project, no one has offered a community benefits package better than what we've offered to help the community over there in terms of making sure that they are guaranteed, the business people in the area, the people in the community, jobs, etc. $11 million is being marked off. And I'll just give you some of the things. There's a list of things downstairs on the board that you will see that's been offered. And that shows that we're here to do more. And there are some that are against the MAP amendment because they say that that's how they check the other developers, because they don't do that. Well, we are telling them to then use us as the model and deny them if they can't measure up to the model. Don't deny us to be able to provide that kind of help. So we need you there to stand up when they say who's here to support the project, that you stand up or you raise your hand to show there's more support for it than those who oppose this kind of project. This is our property. We've been there 5 days. Some of the ones who oppose it, they weren't even born since we've been over there. So we need you there. Sunday, which is the eve of Ramadan, we're going to have a pre-Ramadan program here at 5:30. It's going to be an interfaith program. We're going to have a dinner, pre-Ramadan dinner. And then, because we know later on after that, we'll be getting ready to bring in and the prayers and our intentions to begin to fast that next day, which will be Monday, inshallah. We have faith leaders coming to speak about unity in diversity, fasting within the various traditions. So the different ones are going to talk about fasting, because we're highlighting it here. We have a religious leader from Nigeria who will be one of the panelists. We have I just came back from Denmark. We have a visitor coming from Denmark that'll be here to speak as well, and we have others. So we hope you'll come and support that. Be here for that. This is the eve of Ramadan. Show our unity. Let people see our diversity that are coming. Guests, we got guests coming. We have guests coming from some of the government offices. They want to be here and see it too on the eve. So we want them to see again what they saw. Don't miss that's an opportunity for us to show our beauty and show the kind of programs that we put on, things that bring people together and try to bring out the commonality. Yeah, we have opportunity to discuss the differences, and some of that have come out there. But most we want to show, first of all, we start from the known, then we go to the unknown and show the beauty that we have. People are willing to see the beauty once they get to the known. We're all on the same page. Now we can talk about the unknown, and we can share, because now the wall's not up, the wall is down, and you're connecting to what? Not to the label. No, you're connected to their soul. This is the religion of the soul of the human being. Every human soul, they know. The soul knows this. This is, and really, it was their soul responding. Those leaders who they couldn't stop, because the soul petitioned them. They had to say something to recognize what the soul wants. The soul wants that in their own communities, but they're seeing a picture here. So let's be mindful of that. We also gonna go got a dawah effort. Gonna go out for about an hour after do a prayer on Saturday. We used to do this all the time, going out and inviting the people and sharing the beauty of Islam and giving an opportunity to come here and hear. Again, if we don't go out, who won't do it? We are the followers of Muhammad the Prophet, the present people from him. It's our charge to show them what is theirs. He belongs to everybody, but they're not going to go until we show them. We have to show him to them so they can see the complement for their very life in him. So we hope some of you will be here to join us. We'll give you instructions on what we're supposed to do. Make sure we have the best behavior. We get some orders, just like our dear prophet, the present people from him. Before the Muslims went out, he gave instructions on what to do, what not to do. So we'll make sure we're together. We're on the same page. So we'll have material to pass out. And we're going to start trying to do this regularly, at least once a month minimum, but probably more. We got to get back again, because people got to see us. And we used to inspire people. They used to make comments about it. They used to see us in the community. And they had not seen us like they used to. This is one we're in all areas. You know, those who are suffering, those who are mild versus those on the high. We're doing a lot of things on the upper level, but we got to get back to the community. Most of us here came from the community. Malcolm was in the community, and they saw, one of the reasons Malcolm was so successful was that he was in the community, and they saw him. They saw that he cared about them. He wasn't just in there and then leave them. He was in the community with them, and they saw that he cared about them. They saw what he was doing, and that's why he was one of the reasons why he was so successful. People have to see us and get to know us, so we can show them that we care about them. We're not those that are trying to go out there and have somebody take shahada and say, I converted a Muslim today. No, we want to be good to help the people. We're trying to free the intellect of people. They're in slavery. This world don't give them anything because they're not getting it from the guidance of God. They don't get anything from the world. The world just uses them. They had one person just say that about the person at the top, say good people, when they get with him, he drains their soul. They say he drains their soul, and they're no good anymore. And that's what the world will do to you. It'll drain, they say, your vital essence. You see? And you'll be around here like, and again, that's why they have so many movies out about zombies now. Because most people, they just walking zombies. You see? Moving to and fro, not in control of their life. 5 things our dear prophet said that'll break your fast. He said lying, backbiting, spreading rumors, false testimony, and a lustful gaze. He said, whoever doesn't give up lying and acting on lies during fasting, then Allah has no need of him giving up food and drink. He said, there are many people who get nothing from fasting except hunger and thirst. So as we end, we pray that during this upcoming month of fast, that our appreciation and our love of Allah, His messenger, and each other will grow bigger, and that we will come to love each other with more sincere love. We thank Allah for guiding our hearts, for guiding our intentions, for guiding our lives to this path, this way, and we ask Allah to keep us on this path and to give us His protection. And may He keep our interest for the whole of this religion, and that we live it fully in society so that our life will be a testimony, a witness for all other societies of what Allah wants for mankind. May Allah give us light and open our eyes for the light, and forgive us our ignorance and our sins against our own life, so that we will have His mercy and a new chance for life and progress. Amen. Come and slow. We have a shahada immediately followed remain witnesses to our dear brother. We'll call him up after we finish. Again, tighten up the ranks, leave no gaps. Pray as though it's your last prayer. Shoulder to shoulder, no gaps. Pray as though it's your last prayer. We'll have just a few more announcements after as well. I want to also give you a quick update on for those who didn't get the zoning meeting for this place here. I want to give you a quick update on that as well, on where we are. Allahu Akbar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تبارك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام السلام عليكم Allahu Akbar Allahu Akbar Allahu Akbar. So our dear brother Nathan, if he can begin to make his way up front so we can give him his shahada. Nathan Washington. Assalamu alaikum. Good to see you, bro. Okay. Yeah, good. Yeah, it's right up there. So repeat after me, Brother Nathan. And Brother Nathan has been studying. He's been working with one of our imams here. So certainly the 5 pillars, the beliefs, those kind of things, he got a handle on those things because he's going to continue to study. And of course we have our certificate that we'll be giving to him, his certificate of Shahada, after he completes this right here, inshallah. So repeat after me. Ashhadu
Ashhadu
an la
an la
ilaha
ilaha
illallah
illallah
wa
wa
ashhadu
ashhadu
anna
anna
Muhammadan
Muhammadan
Rasulullah.
Rasulullah.
I bear witness
I bear witness
that there is no God
that there is no God
but Allah,
but Allah,
and I bear witness
and I bear witness
that Muhammad
that Muhammad
is the messenger of Allah.
is the messenger of Allah.
Takbir. Takbir. Our dear brother. So we want to welcome our dear brother Nathan Washington to the brotherhood and sisterhood of what is it, 1.7 billion? I think 1.7 billion around the world. And so you think about now how many people are fasting this month of Ramadan. That Allah loves it so much more because so many more people are fasting than they did during even the days of our dear beloved prophet, the prayers and peace upon him. And you will be among them fasting this month of Ramadan, inshallah, my dear brother Washington. And we ask you to make prayer for us as well. You have returned to a newborn baby. Your sins have been wiped clean. And so we say, just like a baby is close, they're closer to Allah than the distance. You have returned to closeness. So we ask you to pray for us as you pray for yourself. And we ask you to connect with your brothers, continue to build, and then find your place. Find your place to be among the workers. The workers are the ones that return with the two pleasures, pleased with themselves and pleasing to their Lord. Congratulations, my dear brother. Assalamu alaikum. So welcome our dear brother Nathan Washington. Get quick update. We had the zoning meeting, as you all know, week before last. We have preliminary approval with some deliverables that are not big. We're going to get those back to them. The final decision will be made on May the 15th. And so we begin working now with our contractors, getting ready to set the stages for this building. We know we need space, and we need to have a place for our children, our youth. They need to have their own room to do things, etc. Inshallah, we're getting closer than we've ever been to that development, inshallah. So continue to make prayers for us. And these things are happening during the month of Ramadan. The month when whatever you pray for, Allah blesses you. So all this stuff is happening during the month of Ramadan. So again, we thank you, and we look forward to seeing more of you during the month of Ramadan, praying together and also working together, because the work don't stop, the work continues. 7 o'clock p.m. at 1800 Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue is for the May 7th hearing. 7 o'clock p.m. so you can get there earlier so we can get the seats and fill the place up. And then by the time those who oppose get there, there won't be no room for them. Inshallah. So May 7th. Yeah, by the big chair. That's by the big chair. So thank you. That's by the big chair. That's not in the Claremont building. So 1800 Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue Southeast. So May the 7th. Please be there and to support this map amendment. And then we have other hearings that we're going to need you to support. We got to work. It's Ramadan, but we got to work. Okay? That'll be it for now. Assalamu alaikum. There you go, brother. I was just looking at a text from you. You doing good?